Wednesday, everybody. Tanja here with Adventures for Connection, coming to you live from North Vancouver, British Columbia, Canada. And I'm so grateful you're all here. Thank you for coming in. Today is a big day for some. Some are super elated, and some are as low can go for them, so to speak. And let's just bring it back into balance. For we actually have more control over our emotions and where we put our attention than we give ourselves credit for, or that we even realize as selves. So, and I have a very active ground right now. So I just did this little practice for our membership meditation later, and whew, it's going to be strong. So I'm in a really beautiful space at the moment, as I hope you all are. And if you're not there, let's just take a few deep breaths through the nose and out of the nose, and just come into this present moment. And if you feel your belly, it's like a Fibonacci breath. You breathe in, it hugs the inside of your nostrils. You let your belly blow out. You can hold it for a second and then release longer. And as you release out, it comes on the outside of your nostrils. This is a Fibonacci breath. This is a very natural way for us to be breathing. And we quite often hold our breath more than we realize, sucking in that gut. And shallow breathing. You have more hairs on the bottom of your lungs than you do on the upper. So when you breathe really full, you flood your body with oxygen. Your vagus nerve comes into balance, and you just come really present. Yeah, absolutely. So grateful you're all here. We've got some people over on Rumble. Hello, hello. Bayeth on YouTube. Hello. Good to see you. Kriba. Just Fritz. Hi, Andrea. Beautiful. And of course, we've got Monroe, which is Mermagine. So absolutely. And today I wanted to, I didn't ride a roller coaster of emotions. I'm just a really neutral observer. And I really wanted to share what happened for me. So I've been on a awakening journey for about 10 years. It started off as personal development. And as many do, I was looking for my truth, the truth, right? And of course, everyone's truth is objective based on your beliefs, your upbringing, your teachers, right? Your what's happened for you in your life. And so no two of us are the same. So I have a lot of compassion and understanding, patience for people that are struggling today, and that's okay too. So there's many that are very excited about the win in the U.S., and there's many that are very devastated, especially prevalent on Facebook, which is interesting. There's a lot of division, and there has been for a while, but today it was very pronounced. I think that app is really designed for that, to be honest. But I just observed. I didn't insert myself anywhere. I didn't do a post on it. I decided to bring it up in my live today and have a honest conversation with you. And first, I want to share a little bit of a story so you might understand where I'm coming from. So as I went through this process and active meditation, nature was a huge part of my journey. Reiki, thanks to Michelle, who turned me on to that, was also really tapped me into the energy side of me, the energy being that I am. And that went on for quantum, and that was Sherry. Thank you. There's so many people that give you these tidbits. Egypt greatly influenced my awakening. It was a huge activation going to Egypt by myself, and just really being while I was there and following the guidance of some dowsing rods. But I digress. So let's go back to before Egypt. Let's go back to before, and it was at the beginning of 2020. And we all know what was going on at the beginning of 2020. And there was a lot of, as soon as it came along, and that, 2 weeks to flatten the curve, I was like, what? This doesn't make sense. Like, it just didn't resonate for me. And it was like a little activation happened just around that. "Oh, it's go time." I'm like, "Go time for what?" Go time to stand up and to speak. And it wasn't that I went out and was speaking. No, I actually first went down every rabbit hole I could find to find out a broader picture of the story. Now, given the work I'd already done, I was able to observe this from a very cosmic perspective and not get sucked into it or go like cause great emotional pain in my body and mind because of what I had witnessed. Now, I didn't get super graphic with everything. I had enough that I was like, okay, I got it. Yep, makes sense. Okay. So when we pull way back, politics is such a small part of it. When we pull way, way back and we go cosmic about this, not unlike what Chastia talks about, and I'm grateful for Chastia too, and Norma Jean, and everyone here. Super grateful that we get to have this exploration together. As we go more cosmic, we realize that astronomy is actually very important. That if you go to the root of anything, and even those who are very Christian oriented. I may share that in the original text that there is a word which means astrology in the Bible. So I take it to astronomy and astrology, and I've been likening the astrology to tropical to be like the matrix created for us that we reside in right now, and the things we need to master and get ourselves realigned with the astronomy of it, right? And so my chart is full of cosmic um, collective wave runner, collective creators. So creating a new way of being, and I can really see that. But as I was going down these rabbit holes, I really was witnessing. And quite often that is actually what is happening in this world is we are all witnesses for source God, whatever you choose to call it. We are witnessing because all of our perspectives are so unique that it helps to keep creating, right? Everything is energy. Everything is always in creation. And so yeah, good for you, Andrea. As I was observing this and going down these rabbit holes, I could always come back up. Okay, thank you for showing me. Thank for you for showing me. And I look at the whole thing now from this really big perspective of interesting. We're all having this individual experience. These eyes are really projectors. We think we're consuming, but we're actually projecting based on beliefs. And if you look at your iris, it's black. It's just like the projector at the movie screen. If you're curious about that, go look it up on YouTube. There's a lot of information out there. And I will be speaking more about this as we are guided to. But as you go down these rabbit holes, you begin to see the truth of it. But I didn't stop at the truth or story. I didn't stop at the children. I didn't stop at the political gains, what war was really all about, what the division was, everything from Roe versus Wade to we all want the same thing at the end of the day. We all just want our autonomy and freedom. We all want the exact same thing. Yet we're so divided about 2 politicians that we're willing to give our power to them? This is what boggles me a little bit. Because no, no, no politician holds power over me, and actually, if we're creating our reality, we actually can take our energy and attention away from that and choose where we would like to put it. Put it into growing your own food, making your own things, educate yourself on community, common unity. And I do believe that will, you see yourself when you look into your iris. Absolutely. Yes. You see that when we go back to basics, so to speak, we got so far away from our natural state of being. That's what's happened. We strayed, but we did it collectively. We're all connected. So whenever somebody is hating somebody else, it's like, you can because it's part of the process in this journey. But you can also choose to just observe it and go, interesting, they think that way. And if it's somebody you care about, get curious. Oh, I'm really curious to know more. not in a judgment way, but in just, I'm really honestly curious, how did you come to that belief? And so when somebody feels seen and heard, their heart will start to connect with you. And so that's how we can create common unity. We may not agree on the same things, but if we all want the same outcome, can we not find some common ground? Can we not find things that we can agree upon? We all really want that true freedom of choice. We don't want a government running us. We don't want to be told that we need to pay this much in taxes and we need to do this. Our energy is our commodity. Our health is our wealth. And so if our energy is our commodity, I'm gonna be really careful about what I'm willing to put my energy into. I used to work my ass off. I chased. I was on a hamster wheel, driven, male, go, 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 to the point of adrenal fatigue. But that was my breaking point. That was the time where I went, "Oh, fuck, I'm the common denominator." Yeah, part of this process I'm thinking is draws. Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. But when I realized I was the common denominator and that it was the makeup of my beliefs, of the way I was raised, my environment, I was like, damn, it's me. It's me that has to change. And as I slowly started to shift some of my beliefs, I literally had adrenal fatigue. I was exhausted. I couldn't think straight. And I just kept saying, I'm so busy. Oh, wow, you're a powerful manifester. Your brain's just giving you what you're asking for. So be careful of what you say and what you do and what you're willing to consume, because that is creating your reality. And that to me is a fundamental truth at this point. I was beating my own self up really good too. Oh yeah. We had a good round, so to speak. But as I started to shift my beliefs and work on my subconscious reprogramming, so my your subconscious only knows you. It only wants to keep you safe. And so it picks up millions of pieces of information per second. And then it correlates it and compares it. Millions of pieces of information per second. You're not even aware of it. It's just doing it. And so you can imagine how easily subliminal things can be put into your environment. So I would put sticky notes up. I would do affirmations. I would do meditations. And I really would, you know, bite my tongue because I had a sharp tongue, man. I had a retort for everything, but it was a real defense mechanism because in order to feel safe, I didn't wanna be judged, so that's that triangle, right? You have the victim, the perpetrator, and the rescuer, and I wore all 3, right? We all did, or we all do, depending on where you're at, and it took biting my tongue to not lash back out and just slowly conserving my energy. I went from being the loudest person in the room to often being the quietest person in the room, and just observing. And the more I observed, the more I could feel the energies around someone, the more I could feel the truth of something, even if it's not what was being said. And this is how, when this rolled out and, 2 weeks to flatten the curve, I was like, yeah, no, not for me. But many were in fear. You are very, very, very controllable when you are in fear. So if you are in fear, you just wanna get out of that fight or flight feeling. It's not a nice feeling. You can't stay in there forever. And so then you make a decision. And often we made a decision based on what we thought was truth. But many now don't believe that to be true. So can we apply that same logic to what's going on politically? Because I feel like in a way, we're here to witness so that this never happens again, where we stray so far from our natural state of being in harmony with nature. Do you know a plant is a really good reflection of you and where you're at? We're so close to the plant as far as a molecular structure. I think melatonin is the only different thing, right? And so quite fascinating, actually. So remember that. If you want to know where you're at, look at the plants in your house. How are they doing? Are you in harmony with them? It's a really interesting way to observe. Interesting. And sometimes it takes vision to actually get back into harmony. It actually takes division to get back into harmony. Because if everything is status quo and everything is like tickety boo and you think it's good, it's often easier to sit in the known, even if it's even if it's not ideal, because you know it. At least I know this game, than to step into a new game and a new paradigm. And I'm here to help lead a new paradigm, a new way of being. None of us need to suffer. None of us need to struggle. It's our birthright to come to this space and place and enjoy every moment and be lit up from the inside out. And quite often, in making that decision to not follow the status quo, hello, black sheep, fully my entire life, always the problem child, always, always, always. And here I am again, right? I'm not following the norm. But now I know why. I was never meant to. We were never meant to. And so many of us who are come in this lifetime, we're deeply connected more than you know. And we're all learning to lead a new way. Hello, Sharon. Good to see you. We're learning to be a new way. There's another way, there's another option. Whether you're deeply into the healing arts, creative, maybe you just show up every day and are super kind to people because at the end of the day, that's all we need is a hell of a lot more kindness. And as we've been saying, doesn't mean you need to be nice. There's a difference between nice and kindness. Yeah. Kindness is the ability to observe and not spit out judgment at somebody. Nice doesn't mean keeping your mouth shut. You can be kind without being nice. So I'll call out some things when I'm out. Yeah, you could look at it that way or you could look at it this way. Quite often, I'm just giving my perspective. And people can't argue with that because it's your perspective. You don't have to all agree, but you can have a different perspective. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I have a little thing about that voting, but that's more personal for me. I believe if one is gonna vote, I'm done signing my signature. Okay, I'm not signing my signature anymore. One of my I'm like, "Well, I don't wanna sign that." So when I part of the rabbit holing was all about this QFS and, reevaluation and, oh, it's it's a really good story, right? You wanna believe it. You wanna believe it's gonna happen. Then the more you think about it, you're like, "Hmm, I gotta sign an ND." Oh, here's the ones with the Zim bonds and the humanitarian projects. You gotta sign an NDA. I'm like, "What else is in the NDA?" So, once I'm like, "I don't think I wanna sign up for you, man. Can't you read my energy like you say you can?" This whole thing about, there's souls here to help with this, and they can read your energy. Well, if you know I'm good and you know I'm truth, why would I need to sign an NDA? Right? So we see these things and we start to poke holes in it the more we observe it. You're like asking questions. So what are you questioning today? I'd love to know. And how much of a roller coaster ride have you witnessed today in the emotions? You know, what I do know for a fact, and Michelle and I were speaking about this earlier, and thanks, Michelle, you can see past lives in your iris. Yeah, we should play a game. We were talking about, that's all happening out there. What's happening here? Beautiful. Thank you. What's happening here for me is I had a really good sleep last night. I woke up and I thanked my body. did some stretching, drank a bunch of water because that's what I do when I first wake up. I still drink some coffee, so I make sure I hydrate before I drink any coffee. I listen to the cat get going. The cat is like my alarm clock because he's like, "It's time to eat." And he can get a little loud. So, made a few notes in my journal about things I remember from last night, and then I go feed the cat and I get my coffee, and I come back up and I just sit with my eyes closed and I just feel the energies within me. And I can feel the air that's outside the window that's quite cool because I leave my window open at night because I love fresh air. I feel the comfort of my bed under me. Mm. Thank you, body, for supporting me as I go through my days. Yes, we had a great rest last night. That kink in my neck is gone. It's subsiding, which is great. And what I just go into gratitude. Grateful that Jade's healthy. I get to go to Edmonton this weekend and hang out with my brother and his family and their kids, which is which is fun. Plus my cousin's coming in from San Fran and my cousin's coming in from Cloverdale. So we're going to play games and have a good time this weekend. Oh, I'm so grateful I get to do that. And playing with those young souls is so fun all the time. Last time I saw them, I gave them presents. I gave them each a silver coin and just said, hang on to it. So we'll see what their perspective is on that now, right? And I actually ended up selling a bunch of my silver. And why did I do that? What is weighting you down? What are you waiting for? So I made some money on it, but it was more important and I needed it to pay some bills and to take care of some things. And so you can't eat silver. So it's like you make choices, right? And I choose to live from gratitude. And I choose to get out in nature and get to know the local flora and fauna and what can I pick and what can I eat. So my day starts in this gratitude so that I am not consumed and controlled by external forces. Your mind does not know the difference between your imagination, a movie, or the news. It doesn't know the difference. It's just consuming information. And so that subconscious reprogramming, you start to be really conscious of what you're consuming. You want to be a conscious creator in your life. And so I do a Zoom bag. All right, where's the collective at? Oh, oh, okay. Okay, they're over there. There's the this community. Here's another Facebook's its whole own community. I have never seen so much division as I've seen just in Facebook on its own. And I think it's that generational gap, right? So when you're so set in your ways and things have always been the same, it's going to be really challenging to shift those beliefs. Or maybe it's not. Maybe there's no rhyme or reason to it. It just depends on how you were raised, right? And then I wasn't on TikTok today at all. There's a couple minor things there. And YouTube seems to be full of the politics, but also of a lot of predictions. I'm not gonna predict. I just know what I feel in my future, right? I know what I feel being pulled towards, being called to, and it still involves some travel around the world, speaking, activating people, healing people. Um, I do this beautiful meditation for subconscious reprogramming that is infused with healing as well. And every time a client comes back to me with 21 days, I'm just like, oh, I feel so much better. Because you got to check in. Where are you now? And then where are you here? Right. And so once you start to see those rewards, and it's this little incremental steps each day, you get big results. Right. And so I'm watching all these predictions going on. I'm like, but there's so many timelines. How can you possibly predict? Right? I just know mine and my highest timeline, the one I'm choosing. That's the one I'm focused on. And one of the reasons that we've been staying so quiet and still, it's like, don't stray from this vision. Keep this vision going because this is the one that matters. And so, yes, Earth Biscuit, strength, beauty, and grace. Absolutely. And Bayeth. Yes, I took a nap this day. I needed me and me alone. Beautiful. Yes. Yes, absolutely. Temples in the head. Ooh, yes, absolutely. That's this whole connection to source, if you believe in this, and one doesn't know what they know until they try, right? And so it does take getting a little quiet. It does take being willing to sit with yourself and really get to know you, all of you, and love you, nurture you. You are the one you've been waiting for. I know that sounds really cliche these days, but when you realize that you get to create your reality, and by making those small shifts every day, they add up to a lot of change. It's quite beautiful. Yeah, absolutely. Yes. Yes, we were speaking about this earlier. It's just if you just the if the power went out, and obviously we couldn't connect here, but we could connect in other ways. But if the power went out and you were not able to watch the news and you were not able to speak with anyone but maybe your neighbors, what would you do with your time? And start to do more of that now. We had the power go out the other night, and it was really nice. We ended up going out for dinner, but when we came back, it was like, "Oh, yeah, candles, quiet. This is really nice." And I think I went to bed at like 8:30, 9 o'clock. That was really nice too. Allowing ourselves to have those spaces and places where we can just rest and just be and read or color. Jade was coloring. Yeah, absolutely. We are yeah, we are so multidimensional. And this is why this being super present and just super in the now is so critical, because that's where some of that magic happens. It's not out in the astral. There's lots of people talking about OBEs and astral traveling, which is beautiful. It's like going to the movies, right? You don't know what you're gonna get. All right, we'll try this. And that's okay. But in reality, we came into this body, into this earth plane to have this experience. And so being grounded is really important. Being intrinsically connected to nature is really important. Nature always nurtures. I was out there in bare feet today, just doing a little grounding, right? Everything everywhere all at once, literally. Yes. Yes. So everything is in vibration and timeline. So depending on where you're vibrating at dictates where your timeline's at. Depending on where you're vibrating at dictates that which you attract into your reality. And so the most important thing you can do is focus on how you're feeling. And if something doesn't make you feel good, don't do it. Don't focus on it. Go do something else. Go do something that brings you joy. Put on that music. Dance. Sing. Tone. Get out in nature, go for a swim, go sit by the ocean, go sit by a river. There's a million things you can do. Knit. Like, what brings you joy? Drawing, reading, silence, cooking, baking, gardening? What brings you joy? That is the most important thing you can do, is what brings you joy. So that's what I would recommend you focus on. Who's got questions for me? Does anybody have any questions? And I will say this too, that I I can accept, no problem. I have no issue with what's going on politically, especially when it means change, and a lot of people when there's a lot of division, that forces people to think differently, right? That forces people to shift their perspective, because otherwise they just might go a little bit squirrely, pardon the pun. And so, if we can look at this way, that this is the bridge to the next reality, it's got to be done in stages. For those of us in the that were in the truther community, and I just kept going and went more spiritual because I realized that that's out of my control, so why would I focus on it? But for those in the truther community, it took this many years for them to accept and see the shift in the population to allow this change to happen, right? And if it's all a movie and it's all scripted anyway, this is a rolling out to cause the least amount of damage to the least amount of people. And so that would be the truther community aspect, and I can really appreciate that. And then I'm on to the next role, which is no politicians per se, more councils, more community, because we all have gifts. And when we come together and share each of our gifts, we all become parts of a whole. We all have everything we need. What can you do to barter now? What do you love to create that might become a bit of a commodity for you that you can utilize? Like Andrea does her drawing. You can have custom portraits done with her, pencil drawings. Something that brings her joy that she can use to actually, for now, take in money or barter if she chose. Yeah. Yes, that's true. You are the joy. It doesn't bring you anything. You create it through the joy you are being. It comes from no other place. Absolutely. Thank you for that correction. Yeah. What about you guys? Is it canning? Like, what is it? Let me know in the comments here. Chat me up. Ask me any questions you've got. Tonight we have our membership group, and we are doing a call to get together. And generally, I do a live meditation, and that's in a Zoom. Yeah. Awesome. Yeah, and I'm so grateful for everyone I've connected with. So, so, so grateful. So grateful. It's amazing how many souls around the world I now know from the last few years that I would never know otherwise. It's amazing how many co-creators are out there that have so much fun playing, and we get to start playing really soon. Yeah, I think it's next spring. Absolutely. Jess Fritz says cooking and music. Yeah, I love cooking too. It's alchemy. So when we're cooking, we're alchemizing. Might not even be about the food that we're cooking, that alchemizing that we're doing, as much as we're alchemizing something else. We're all alchemists. Our bodies, every time you drink water, your body's alchemizing it. Every time you eat food, your body is alchemizing it. We're all doing alchemy all the time. I don't know what stone wrapping is. Painting furniture, sculptures, cool. Oh, wrapping things in stone, maybe. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I find my best time sitting stills early in the morning or later in the day. Absolutely. Yeah, active meditation's very good. Yeah, with wire, copper, and much more. Yeah, absolutely. So being in that creative mode and realizing that, you know, you can learn to create something new. You can do something unique and different and maybe needed. Yeah. You know what? I think all of our phones are acting up right now. Absolutely. Yes. Yeah. Choose you. Put you first. And when I ask about, you know, for the collective, if everyone just started to put themselves first and stay really present, it'd be a very different space at this time. But there's much more to come out. There's much more to be revealed per se for those that are out there ready to witness that. Yeah, making a mess. I like baking and things like gingerbread houses are fun, or shortbread cookies and decorating those, or gingerbread cookies. Those are fun. My biggest challenge is some of them make it in my mouth. And that's okay too. Absolutely. Yeah. And you still get to do where you have fun. We like to do escape rooms. Escape rooms are fun. That's fun. And they're not scary. Games are fun. That's why I don't bake. Yeah, I don't bake very much. I'm quite cautious. Be like, you get one of these and that's it. But I love doing it. I love baking and then giving it away. And I love cooking new dishes and creating new things. I love having bowl meals that are different all the time, depending on what you want. Salad, rice, like sushi style, fish, like whatever you're called to do. Yeah. And even we'll be doing some of this tonight too, working on some visual sharing. So we're all learning, and every day does anyone else feel like there's been a shift energetically going on? Because for me, there's been, like, the past week especially, it's been a very much, like, stay tight, just stay in your space. Stay in your space, and lots of naps, and everyone naps are, like, the best thing ever, especially if you're not sleeping well through the night. Lots of baths. Lots of nurturing food, lots of, I'm big on bone broth at this time of year for the immune system. I did just have a big purge, cleansing and clearing. Yeah. For me, yes, yes, like a veil was lifted. Yeah, absolutely. Andrea, I'd be concerned that I get stuck in the escape room. You can't. They don't lock you in. They don't lock you in. Absolutely. It feels like we are so new, connected to nothing in the matrix. We are really live. Yes. So then it's like that's what it feels like, Norma Jean, we were talking about this earlier. It feels like, oh, we're supposed to do something, but I don't know what that is. So I'm just gonna sit tight until I have clear direction on what the next move is, what the next motivation is. Because you guys, I don't think we can really comprehend how good it can get, how incredible this can be. You can't conceptualize it yet. Heck, we were even watching videos on YouTube, on TV, on Greece. Like, go dream of places you'd like to be. Go watch. Yeah. Bathe, you're fasting, beautiful. Yes, absolutely. Yeah. And so if there's this huge shift happening and we're now live. Oh, oh, it's like a pole shift. All right, we're getting the rod out because I'm live and I can't quite focus the same way. It just spun around. So we've been talking a lot how the matrix was inverted and it just got flipped. Ouch. Uh, absolutely. You know, it doesn't feel like any like it depends on where you're at, but energetically, it feels different. And it's like trying to put your finger, I can't quite put my finger on what it is. Yeah. Now is the true time to create vision boards, whatever it is, helps you to set the intentions of what you'd want to create and the experience you have for so long. Yeah, absolutely, Norma Jean. Absolutely. Which is why we've been looking at these. I think people are doing it intuitively, whether they realize it or not. They're starting to think about a trip they would like to go on or how they would like to live. Yeah. Yeah, we were talking about so Norma Jean, I'll share. Norma passed a kidney stone last night. And Carolyn's husband, she thinks that's what's going on for him. Anybody else know anything about kidney stones being passed at the moment? Because for that to be two people in my small world in today, because today I barely talk to anybody, that's pretty interesting, isn't it? Yeah, fascinating. Absolutely. And I wonder too, astrologically, how that aligns you. I know that Chastity has shared something about that, but there's something else to this. And remembering that every organ is attached to a planet and planets are energy. And here's one that many of you maybe not have heard. So as we come in, a soul coming into this avatar, this body, everything's sacred geometry. And so we are in a construct of advanced intelligence. We are advanced intelligence. And we came at this time specifically, we chose to be here. You may not feel like it, but you chose to be here right now, here in this space. And so as we go through this, as we come in, we go through all the planets energetically, and the sun being our final one. I was talking with Michelle earlier about passing kidney stones. What's more painful? Because we were talking about this. Passing kidney stones or giving childbirth. Michelle's first was, oh no, childbirth. That's a birth through a ring of fire. And I'm like, yes, because that's going through the sun. You're going through a ring of fire. The middle of the sun is like a black hole. So yeah, I don't know how do you guys feel about that one? Because I drink a lot of this. Yeah. Okay. Interesting. Yeah, we need to talk about these things because I think it's really important. Thank you for bringing that up, Carolyn. Right? And Norma Jean's not laughing at you just, Fritz. She's laughing at me. No, I'm usually the one being laughed at, and I don't mind at all. I like to be silly. Absolutely. So giving childbirth is like a ring of fire, right? It's not to say that passing kidney stones is not, but there's something going on energetically with what's going on, as above, so below, what's going on in the astrology right now in regards to kidneys. And I've had kidney, and here's where it also stems. I've had my back kidneys have been really slow, right? To the point where my acupressurist actually put a couple needles in me, which is rare. She's never done that before in the year I've been seeing her. And she said, "Oh no, your kidneys are slow." I'm like, "Yeah, it's something to do with the energies." So I'd be really curious if we can correlate what's going on. Yeah, express what is happening. Yes, exactly. So if our what is the kidney related to? Norma Jean, can you look that up? What's the kidney related to? Which planet? Yeah, absolutely. Headaches are always and rashes all of a sudden. Yeah, a lot of people hitting that point. And remember, if everything's increasing in vibration and the sun is kicking off solar flares and we're being upgraded, so it's like this cycle of energy going out and then back and then out and then back. And so we go through these energetic upgrades, which vibrate us more. It's going to kick out anything that's not good for you. Yeah, absolutely. Right? My mission is VR. I am a warrior. Beautiful. Absolutely. We're grateful you're here. Yeah. Yeah, and we're all stepping into who am I? Who am I truly? What is my energy being? Show me. I want to know more. I want all of me to come into this body as much as it can handle at this time and space. And that's what's happening. So it's preparing us for this, for more of a soul walk in, as they call it. Yeah. Yeah. Tender scalp and skull, extremely tender. Yeah, do you mean so mine vibrates. So where your attention goes, energy flows. It's like my crown of thorns has been active and then it moves around depending on what's going on. And sometimes there's more pressure coming in. Yeah. Yeah. Guess like a ring of fire. Yeah. Absolutely. The kidneys are a filter. Yeah, but I'm asking Norma Jean which planet is the kidney related to? I had it written down somewhere. I should have brought that up today. I'm just getting a reminder on that. And then also with the kidneys around through to the sciatica as well. Now, sciatica is generally your lower back through your hip, generally attached to a lot of emotions. Yeah. Yeah. Sorry, I'm laughing at Fritz because she says, "Anybody else having tender scalp and skull, extremely tender, I guess like a ring of fire." And then she says, "What baby with a fire?" And then she's saying that she's having problems with her phone spelling things, yeah. No idea why I put the baby at the end of what I just typed. It's almost like there's a code coming in all the words that are being said that we don't mean to type in, the things I find entertaining. Anyways, as we go through this process and come into this body, and then we're being activated, our DNA is being activated, it's been dormant. And so now it's being activated, and some of us are what we call front runners. And yeah, you can say it's always being, you know, trained my entire life being a black sheep to be able to be okay with leading away into the unknown, so to speak. And that's kind of what we're doing. And trusting and accepting and allowing. And so a lot of these symptoms that people are feeling in this awakening process, and they're going to the hospital, and the doctors keep saying, but there's nothing wrong with you. Can't find anything wrong with you. Heart palpitations, um, digestive issues, absolute aches, headaches, right? Headaches are definitely one, a lot of even back pain. I think a lot of people think they're having a stroke or a heart attack. That's the one I've heard the most of, and anxiety. Things for anxiety because of that going on. Planet is Venus. So Fridays are kidney days. Yeah, we were okay. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Planet Venus astrologically. Okay. That's interesting. What's Venus doing right now? And so as we correlate these things and we ask these questions and we line them up, things just start to make sense. So it's in Libra for balance. Okay, that's interesting. So our kidneys are in Libra right now for balance. So your kidneys are being balanced, right? And so energetically, because we're attached to that, there's a shift happening. And so this is what happens every time, and why I go see a acupressurist, because she tells me what she's reading. She does Chinese acupressure, and then she tells me what's going on in my body, and I'm like, yeah, but it'll change next week, and it usually does. The kidney one has been for a little bit though. I am a Libra, and the kidneys represent the scales and balance. So I thought maybe that's what's going on with my urine. Maybe. Absolutely. Just make sure you take lots of fluids in. Yeah. And so if we can think about, and sidereal too, if we look at all the different ways of astrology, I just encourage you to research, observe the tropical, because that's sort of the construct that we're in at this time. But be attention to the astronomy, which could be serial, Eastern, Vedic, and pay attention to both. Be observant of both. Observe both and bridge it together and see what you get. Because to me, that's where the truth really is for each of us. But paying attention to where they're going. And what Chastity has done is taken you energetically from when you came in and realigned you with your astronomy that you're supposed to be with, because we're all on the wheel of the matrix, so to speak, right? You think about being tied to the wheel of the matrix. And we've got certain points that we need to work through, figure out. This is what we came into close this time. And once we master a house, we get to move on to the next. So depending on how many star rays you have, and once you're aligned, it's easier, you get to start studying. And that's what we've been mastering, to ask the right questions, to reflect that which the other person's feeling, and sort of go back and forth and have communication about this, and starting to unwind and understand. For me, mine, as soon as I read through it, I'm like, confirmation, 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 confirmation. And so that was really good. And it's interesting because Chastity is very cosmic in her perspective and channels incredible amount of information from that perspective. So from her perspective, having come in on what's going on right now, and so if it didn't have so many correlation points for us, it wouldn't mean anything. But because it has so many correlation points for what we're experiencing and what we're going through, it has a lot of meaning for us. And then I've been distilling that information to bring it down into a more basic format. And so, having been aligned, I came in earlier than her. I'm a couple years older, but I'm holding the energetic highways, so to speak. And so I came in, and that's why I'm so grounded. That's why I'm so here, connected above, but very much in the here, because I can hold a ton of information in a big energetic container. And that just resonates with me because I've always been told, "You're so grounded. How can you hold so much information? How can you do so many things?" I would have had a breakdown by now. I'm like, "I don't know, I just can't." I can just not give all my energy to one thing, right? But be able to do many things and bridge things together so that they make sense. Yes, I'm an indigo child. Thank you for reminding me. All right, you guys, starting to get dark here. Let's end with this, a little tease and a taste, and see if you would like to join us on this little adventure. Can you close your eyes and take a few deep breaths and just do a body scan? And can you just make some mental notes on how you're feeling right now? Can you slow your breathing down? Can you become ever so present in your body? In a world where we've been so disconnected from our bodies, we viewed everything from the mind. Now, everything is mental. You are manifesting at all times, and your brain is a tool, and a very much needed one, to be utilized. But in many ways, the education you had, the upbringing you were brought through, has disconnected you from how you feel. And so at this time, I invite you to give yourself a hug, put your hands over your heart, and feel your body. Can you feel your heartbeat? Can you put your attention all the way down to your toes and feel your toes? Remembering that where your attention goes, energy flows. And your hands and your feet are like the terminals of a battery. You are an electromagnetic being. We want to reconnect our terminals properly. Quite often, it is said that the left is for receiving, the hands, and the right is for giving, but you can give with both. Can you rub your hands together now and bring your attention and awareness there? And then can you hold them out and up flat? And can you feel the energy? Now, if you put your hands over your face and hold them out from your face with your eyes closed, can you feel that? Or even your ears? We often forget to feel. We are energy beings. And everything you consume with your eyes and your ears and your mouth is creating your reality. People forget that certain diets cause anxiety and depression. And so everything in balance. Read a little more, listen to music, remembering that a cell phone is just that. It is a cell phone. It's a requirement sometimes to operate in this world, but Can you put it down for a bit? Can you leave it alone? Or you always have something on? Are you always listening? Are you always consuming? I know lots of people continue to have like a radio on all the time. Can you go without that? That would be a good question for you. That's as low as it goes. I feel like I have an interrogation light on now that it's light around. You turn your Wi-Fi off at night. Yeah. So I just invite you to take a few minutes, set a timer, start with 1 minute, and just sit and close your eyes and observe your thoughts going by. You can imagine yourself on the bank or in a field watching clouds go by. So you're in a big grassy knoll and you're watching the clouds go by and you're having thoughts and you just want to visualize those thoughts just like the clouds going by. Thoughts are not facts. When you attach to them and you start to ruminate on them, you're making it part of your reality. But if it's just a thought going by, you can flick it away. Remember, in the connective consciousness of all, because we all are connected, some of those thoughts might not even be yours. It might be somebody else's. And as we become more intuitive, we're picking up on energy, we could be picking up on somebody else's thought. So if you don't want that thought, you just can, I just used to flick them away. No, thank you. Or you can just say pass, right? You can just say pass, no thank you, pass. So if you just visualize yourself and for a minute, and if you add a minute and you get up to 5 minutes a day, maybe you can get up to 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 15, 15 minutes a day of just observing your thoughts, quiet. You might be surprised what starts to come through. You can even ask a question beforehand. No thing will change unless you change. Are you going to be the change you wish to see in this world? Because that's kind of where we're at right now. And I'm going to end it with that, like finishing your friends' comments when they get stuck. Yeah. All right, you guys. I love you. Give it a thumbs up, like it, share it out if you feel it's relevant for somebody you know. And I'm sending you a lot of love. Have a beautiful night.